Apologize for the delay, guys.
There he is.
Okay. All right. Well, good morning to everybody. Thank you for being here. Certainly one heck of a college football game on Saturday night. Again, always thanks to our fans for the way they come out, support, and just make it an unbelievable environment. Just makes it just a whole different level experience for our people there, our recruits, and certainly for our players. It gives us a tremendous advantage, and thankful to them. Great to see our guys find a way to win, overcoming some of them self-inflicted, but some issues, and just continued to just stayed in the fight, kept working hard, trusting and believing, and execute the things that we do in practice. And certainly right away yesterday, got right on our next opponent. He's got a tremendous football team and getting ready to go on the road here this coming Saturday. That being said, open to questions.
Questions right here. James.
Mario, to get an update on both Troy and Travis, and in place of Troy, Drew Mathis, who only debuted a week earlier, started, filled in, played a good bit. Just what did you think of his play on Saturday?
Yeah, well, first with an update, the Dye brothers, they are good to go. Feel that those guys are healthy and we'll be ready to practice tomorrow when we resume our practices. Thought that Drew did a really good job in his first college start. You know, he also played special teams. That's a lot on somebody's plate. We eliminated some of the special teams play so he could focus on just one particular phase and at playing linebacker, and thought that he did a nice job, you know, for his first college start.
On the left, Matt.
How do you grade the defense and kind of the yards that they've put up the last 2 weeks? I understand Washington State doesn't run the ball really all that much, and that kind of skews things. But just how did you kind of grade out the secondary's performance and just overall defensively?
Well, you know, there were some good things and some things we'd like to get back, some things that we need to improve upon. But overall, you know, you're facing a couple teams that are about as opposite from a scheme standpoint as you can imagine. So it does create some challenges. And at the same time, you know, we were able to create a couple of really big stops, a pick six, which of course changes the complexion of the game. And then some things that we want to continue to work on, you know, in terms of our eye discipline and the way we pass things off, whatnot on the back end. But overall, these guys are a group that we really trust and believe in, and we've played some really good football throughout the year, and we'll continue to get better.
On the right, Ryan.
Mario, before the drama of the last two drives, you guys had a 4th and 6 at the 33, I think. How tough was that decision to punt there instead of maybe going for it or kicking a field goal to try and get a 2-score lead?
That's a tough one. I felt the field goal was not the option at the time. We just haven't gone 50 plus. 4th and 3 would be an easy one. 4th and 4 easier. Chance on 4th and 6, not great. Chances at an opponent scoring from their 33-yard line as opposed to their 10 is, you know, I wouldn't say astronomically, but significantly different. The odds are certainly in favor of your team if they have to try to score a touchdown starting a drive at their 10-yard line. So, but yeah, that's one that was, you know, took a little quick analyzing and just went with what we felt was right.
AJ.
Coach, I was just wondering, you know, now you've had a chance to review the film, any more kudos to hand out? Because there were quite a few nice performances on Saturday.
When you have a victory like that, and I think, you know, over the past couple of weeks, our team has found different ways to win. So I think first that's a testament to the character, to the care factor, to the brotherhood of the guys in the locker room, because winning football games are hard. And, you know, sometimes people say they worry about emotional roller coasters coming off of a big win on the road and whatnot. And, you know, that we knew that Washington State was going to present some challenges. We knew they were a more difficult, a very unique scheme. And we knew that somebody in that locker room and sometimes an unexpected person was going to have to step up and make plays. And I think everyone in their own respective right made a significant play in that game. So I think across the board, there'd be a lot of guys to mention. But I think that our team and our staff just feels comfortable in saying, giving it to the team, you know, instead of just picking out individuals or whatnot. So just proud of the team effort.
On the left, Eric.
Back to Camden, I think you mentioned 50 might have been a little bit long. Do you feel like he's now made 5 in a row? Do you feel like you're kind of more confidence, maybe expanding his range a little bit, and kind of where's the comfort zone right now with him?
We're going to work more, more in that 50-plus range because he has the leg to do so, and he has done it in practice. Just his accuracy in 49 and less has been really, really good. Particularly the last 2 weeks, he's been batting 1,000 from that range, and he did so on Saturday. So Excuse me. So yeah, we feel that the more work he gets, and we do put him in situations where he's under duress in practice at the end of 2 minutes, surround him with the players, make noise, whatever we got to try to distract him. He's been really good. So yes, we have plenty of confidence in him.
On the right, Ryan.
Graham Harrell is obviously a Mike Leach disciple or part of his tree. Does that help your defense having just faced the air raid, or does he do things differently?
Well, they have their own flavor. I mean, they personnel use is different. They're as talented as you'll see around the country, period. And they're very well coached, very explosive. So I think at this time of year when teams have played so many games, you see some overlap concepts, and at the same time you have to make sure that you work on the things that might have been effective against you, because if not, they'll show up again. But we feel very confident in that, the fact that there might be some carryover, but that our preparation will be executed to the point where we'll be ready to play against whatever it is we see on Saturday.
In the middle, Warren.
Coach, there's an old line in sports that says good teams learn how to win. They know how to win. I'm just curious, over the last couple of years since you've been here, especially with their win at Washington and then this week, has this team begun that process to learn how to win, or are they there yet? Or are they learning how to win those tough games?
It's interesting. Last Friday we always have a video to set the mind right for our Fast Friday approach, and it started off with Tiger Woods talking about how you just never arrive. I think his first Masters victory was 20 plus years ago, and then leading up to the past spring, and talked about that, and it really hit home with the team. I don't think you ever arrive. I think it's a cardinal sin as it relates to sports and just individual competitors to ever think that. I think ever since last year we have been learning how to sometimes grind out a tough win, sometimes jump on a team, sometimes be able to withstand a surge from the other team. And now going into this year, we've had a little bit more success up until this point of the season, but fully knowing that there are so many things that we have to get better at in order to continue to have success, because now it's in November, everybody's playing relevant football, right? We're playing a team that's leading the Pac-12 South, that is excellent at home, that is an excellent second half team, very well coached, a lot of really good players, that your margin for error becomes smaller and smaller. Therefore, technique and fundamentals really come into play at this time of year. Wanting to play hard and have a lot of passion is awesome. It's a major ingredient. But the other ingredients have to match up, and those ingredients are technique and fundamentals.
Front left, Matt.
When Breland went down, I don't know if anyone could fairly say you need to replace what he did, but Spencer Webb, the last couple of weeks, I think last 2 games, 5 catches, 75 yards and a touchdown, 5 straight catches for first downs for him. Just what have you seen from him over the last couple of games, and kind of where he fits the rest of the season?
Well, as excited as we are about him catching the ball, just as excited about him in the run blocking as well. I mean, now that he's working full-time at tight end, now he's involved in all our schemes. Now it's not a matter of, okay, Spencer's in the game, or it's going to be a pass. I mean, he's gotten physical, and he's really, he's just back in tight end mode. There's a difference when you put your hand in the ground as opposed to when you're out there split out. But he's also become a better blocker on the perimeter as well. His production in the absence of Jake Breland has been critical to the success of our offense. He's a young guy, and Spencer's going to be a great player now. He really is, and his teammates are really happy for him. He's a young guy. He's always has a great attitude, a real happy guy. So again, we look forward to big things from him.
On the right, AJ.
Coach, that extra point miss could have been huge in that game. Is there anything you coaches can or need to do to tighten up that unit?
Well, when we talk about technique and fundamentals, kicking the football is the ultimate technique and fundamentally oriented task, right? I mean, it's as simple, almost as simple as wherever those hips face, that's where the ball's going to go, right? If you come across your body, well, the ball's going to go across and maybe, right by the upright as well. So without question, every detail of that unit, because right at Stanford, we had the foot of the guard tip that ball. That could have gone the other way, right? And in a game like this, we had to play catch up. We had to score on a 2-point conversion to have a shot to win at the end. Well, that 2-point conversion became even more critical to have. So yeah, it becomes a domino effect of things like that. become a reality. So yes, sir, we are fully committed to making sure that our PAT and our field goal unit is operating at the highest level possible. Can't have those mistakes.
James, on the left.
Understand that Juwan is listed as a backup to Brian on the depth chart, but there's always a rotation there, Mario. But production-wise, this past week, he certainly has had big catches there down the stretch, higher than Brian has had in any game this season. Could you see now that Juwan is getting healthier and clearly, as Marcus said about Cyrus, we don't deny production, that the production can be there and that he can be that starting role like you expected him to be going back months ago?
Yes, sir. Without question. I should have done a better job in putting this out. That should have an or by it, because yesterday in practice, he was splitting time because, as you mentioned, he has earned it. You know, it was showing up in practice the past 5, 6, 7, 8 days. He came out and performed at a very high level. And as much as he, and again, those are big plays that are down the stretch. In fact, if we get that block on the corner, that tunnel screen scores, you know. So, but a couple of monster catches, and just as importantly, some great blocks like the, CJ's long touchdown run. That was sprung by, some good play up front. But without the blocking at the second and third level, that's a 12-yard gain. So, yeah, he's really coming on strong. And yes, you're going to see him play a much more prominent role, and that's a position that by Friday we'll decide as to who actually starts, the game itself. But his snaps, and we're going to count on him to play a lot more football for us.
Eric, left side.
Always seems to be a correlation between getting after the passer and defending the pass. Last 2 weeks seems like those numbers have gone down a little bit. What have you seen there? And I guess what's the key in correcting that going forward?
We've got to do a better job getting to a quarterback and affecting a quarterback. I think most quarterbacks at this level, particularly in our conference, if they have time to throw, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And you know what? We've had some success rushing the passer. We've worked some really good edges and got some good pocket push before. And we've got to continue to improve that because, again, as mentioned, it's hard. It's difficult if you can't get an opportunity to affect the passer.
Middle left, Rob.
Getting to that time of year with bowl projections and playoff projections coming out, you feel like, and your team's starting to get some chatter in that regard based on the winning streak, you feel like you guys are equipped to handle that and not let it affect things?
That's a great point. I think that's always going to be the monster that we're faced with, right, with our generation. I think you quickly acknowledge the fact that it's there, but you also acknowledge the fact that, okay, we're having success. We are climbing, but we're also climbing because other teams had some mishaps on Saturday. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. And then immediately we jump back into the fact that our operation and our process is working because it's as simple as this is the most important game of the year because it's the next game. And we're not going to stray from that. We can't stray from that. I don't know if anyone's good enough to stray from that. Maybe they are. But for us, it's going to be about, being where our feet are and focusing on the task at hand.
Left, Matt.
So many players on this team are from Southern California. Do you play into this week of they're going home, and obviously there's going to be a ton of ticket requests and people want to see them and whatnot? We're there for a reason, or do you embrace that coming home mentality for some of these guys?
I think you must have been in our team meeting yesterday. That's a great question because we recruit Los Angeles so hard, and we love it. And we're going to continue to do so, and I think the juice behind going home to play is going to naturally be there. The part that you address is the fact that, we really approach going on the road in a certain kind of way that has really been effective for us this year. And it has nothing to do with how many family and friends we get to the hotel to say hello, right? It has nothing to do with how much we can scramble to get tickets. All those things are just extra noise and extra distractions, right? We have a simple goal, every single week, and we don't ever want to stray from that. And it starts with how you handle Sunday all the way through game time and all the way to the end of the game. So it's been addressed. We'll continue to be addressed. And our guys are looking forward to playing on the road.
Time for two more, James.
USC's wide receiver core is obviously particularly talented and deep. Mike's brother among them. Just what do you think of that? They're big three in particular, starting with Michael, but obviously Amon-Ra as well, and et cetera.
They're as good as you'll ever see in the country. I mean, those guys are all immediate, first-round picks in the NFL draft in this year or the coming years, depending on their age. So They're explosive. They're very well coached. They have opportunities to go up and make plays. They do an unbelievable job with the 50-50 balls. They have high point balls. They're technically and fundamentally sound, and they play hard. They play hard with the ball in their hands or without the ball in their hands. So, very impressive group of wide receivers. Impressed with their team overall.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a good day. We will be leaving. Matt Neuer is an absolute stud when it comes to precision. We get there with enough time to put our bags in the room, to come downstairs and do a quick activation movement to get our body going, and dinner starting at 6